If you don't know, don't worry. We're all going to do this together. Today, we're going to be doing one of Vietnam's most famous dishes is pho. There are two different types of pho. There's one from the north and one from the south. Um, but basically, it has the same ingredients. Some are saying that the northern Vietnamese pho is less sweet and a little bit more saltier than the southern Vietnamese. But just like I've always said, make it your own. You know, put in the basic ingredients that you like, and taste it. If it's good, then go ahead and use that part of it, or add and subtract what else you don't want or need. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you what we have. We have some veggies for later on. Usually I have some bean sprouts too, but I haven't picked it up yet. Maybe I'll go get it later. We have there's onions. The purple onion we use to for inside the dish when we're eating. These are the white onions or yellow onions, whichever one you want to get. That's to cook with, to make the broth. There's some shallots, ginger, of course, lime that will be going inside the soup bowl. We have some star anise, some cloves, cardamom. Of course, we have some cinnamon sticks there, coriander seeds, fennel seeds, this rock sugar. If you don't have rock sugar, you can use regular sugar. I was using regular sugar for a long time, and then just not recently, for the last few years, I've been using the rock sugar. It tastes better. I think it tastes better. Okay, this will make the smell of it makes it. This will brings it all out. Then of course we have all kinds of different meat products in here. The bone, of course, is a very important portion of it. That's going to make, like I said, the broth flavoring. It is pho. It's beef pho, so you want it to taste like beef. We have some with oxtail, okay, flank, brisket. This is I believe that's a neck bone. Yeah, beef neck bone, and then tendon. I'm a real big. I love tendon, so that needs to be cooked for a few hours. Of course, fish sauce and the noodle package. This is a large one. You can get the medium or the small, depends on what size of the noodles you want. I even got this new cup here. I haven't used it yet, as you've seen. What it does, this cup does, is when it's finished not finished cooking, but while it's cooking, you, instead of scooping out all the fat, you can pour it in here, and the fat will go to the top of the cup, and you can pour the broth back into another pot, and then keep cooking all that. Now you don't discard the fat, because the fat tastes really good if you drizzle a little bit on top of your finished product, and you can eat it from there. If you don't want it, you don't have it. There's a few restaurants that actually charge you to pour it on top of your pho. But it's to help to keep the broth as clear as you can get it, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to make sure the broth is clear as we're going to get it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to parboil all the meat, except for the flank. The flank is the rare beef that puts on top of there. If you want that on there, we're going to parboil those, and then we're going to start cooking. It's going to take a few hours, so I'm going to jump back when the next phase of the cooking is being done. Hold on a second here, and we're going to get to parboil the meat. So what I did now is I got the biggest pot I have here. This is the big pot. I'm going to parboil all the meat, get the scum off of there. So I'm going to grab some hot water, pour it under some hot water. I'm going to put some salt in the water too, so it cleans the meat. It makes it parboil a lot better. And excuse me. And then we're going to parboil for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I'd say about 15. And then we're going to take all the meat out, clean up the meat again, and then we're going to put it in a fresh batch of water. So I'll be right back after I grab this, put it on the stove. Okay, hold on. So the big pot right here is where everything's going to be cooking in. It's getting a little hot right now. We're going to put the all the meat in there, except for the flank, of course, to parboil. Then this is the smaller pot. Look at the difference here. The reason we use this one is because, you know, when you cook in it, of course the broth will, the water will just, you know, go down and go down and down. So after you take the meat out, and you have just a broth in there, we can just transfer it to here, you know, to the smaller one, but we cook it in this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the meat and put it in here so it can parboil. Okay, hold on one second. All right, so here we go. We got all the bones here. Just the, you know, the bones right there. Stick that in there. Stick that in there. Stick that in there. Get all these bones in there. Like I said, this parboil just gets all the gunk that's on the meat, and, you know, take some of the blood out of there, because you don't want that, because it's going to change the color of your broth, and you really don't want that. You know, you want it to be, as, like I said, as clear as possible. Okay, so there it is. All that's in there. We're going to let it boil up for about 15 minutes. We're going to come back. We're going to take it out, rinse them all off, and then put in another the actual pot of the broth that we're going to be using for the soup. All right, we'll be back in a second. Thanks. So it's been a few minutes right now. As you can see, the water's getting hot. It's boiling over, parboiling the meat, and we'll be back as soon as we get ready to take this off the stove and rinse it off and transfer it to a clean pot with clean water. Hold on one second. Okay, now we are boiling away on here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this into the sink, pour out all this gunk of bad, well, parboiled water on there, take the meat out. I'm going to rinse it in cold water, transfer it back into this big pot with clean, we're going to clean the pot, and we're going to have clean, clear water in there. I'm going to say 8 to 10 liters of water in there, and then go from there. All right, hold on. So the pot is clean. All of them, the bones and all that, the meat has been rinsed off with cold water. We're going to rinse it off again. Some more right here. Look at this. See, this is one of the bones right here. All right, look at that. Cold water. And now we're going to fill up this pot with some more cold water, and then we're going to start the actual cooking of the pho broth, the beef pho broth. Look at that. Oh my God, this is going to be good. All right, give me a second here. I'm going to fill this up with about 8 to 10 liters of water. Okay, so let's see what happens. Hold on. So we have cleaned all the beef bones and the beef, the tendons, and oxtail, neck bone, all the and the beef bones, all that are in there in this very clean water. We're gonna let this cook for about 2 to 3 hours. The brisket will take out, you know, in a couple hours. The tendon we're going to take out about 4, because it takes about that long to cook. And then we're going to, like I said, let this boil up and then turn it down, and then come back and check on it. All right, we'll be back. Thanks. While we were waiting for everything to get done, cooking for a couple hours, I went ahead and, you know, got the rest of the stuff ready, like the onion that's going to be in the broth later. The shallots also. Here's the ginger. I peeled the outside skin of the ginger. Some people don't. You don't have to. Sometimes I don't either. And of course, all the aromatics that's going to be going in there to give it some, you know, good flavor and all that. Of course, you know, the beautiful fish sauce on there. But yeah, getting that all ready. Don't want to rush and forget anything. Um, when it's time to put each whatever ingredients in a certain time. All right, we'll be back. So it's been about a couple hours now, and the beef flavoring is the base is doing pretty good on there. So that's what we're doing. Excuse me, my dog's barking for some strange reason. Probably want some pho, but not yet, not done yet. So this is going. Our next step is we're going to take the onion, the shallots, and the ginger, and we're going to well, I don't know what you call it, roast them up, or brown them up and all that stuff. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the gingers right there. Okay. Put the shallots right there, some right there. Onion. I'm going to char this up now for a little bit here. Over here. Like this here. Okay. And let that go for a few minutes. We're going to flip those things over and then get it all going. Put it in the pot with the bones and the meat and the tendons and brisket and all that in there. That all cook for about another hour or two, I'm saying, until that's done. Then we'll take the tendons and the brisket and all that out. Keep the bones in there, of course. But we're going to start adding some of the things that make the flavoring of the pho. Like the shallots, the ginger, the onion. Put some fish sauce and all that inside there. Okay. Hold on a second while we cook this up. So as you can see, it's getting all charred up there. We're not doing a barbecue grill or nothing like that. So we're just trying to get some color on there, get it charred up a little bit more. And then after that, we're going to stick it in the pot, let it cook in the pot for about another hour or two for the couple pieces of meat that we're going to put in there. And remember, a lot of people, they smash the ginger afterwards. You can do that. I've done it both ways. You can. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It doesn't really change the taste that I've found out. Shallots, sometimes I put them in, sometimes I don't. Some people do not even put it in. Onions, they do, and of course the gingers, they do. Okay, so here we go. Let me get this going, and then I'm going to go ahead and put them in the pot. All right, hold on a second. All right, here we go. Grab this shallot right here. Look at that. Just put it inside the pot there. This one. Just grab a few at a time. Drop that in there. Yeah, this one's good. This one's for sure good. Yeah. You can actually take some of the outside off if you like. So I'm actually going to take some of the outside of that one off. I don't like it so all the blackness on there right there on this one. It's too much. I'm gonna peel that part of it off there right there. Here's the ginger. Onions are doing good. Let me go ahead and take some of this outside burnt part out on there, and then I can burn right back with you. Okay. So I took that part of it off. We're gonna let that sit for a little bit, not too much. I'm gonna take the ginger, actually, and put it inside the broth, the pho broth. Put it inside there. Another one like that. We're ready for this bad boy too. Okay. Ginger brings in the beautiful taste. There's the onion. Look at that. Got the onion. Let's roll this bad boy over here like this one. Put it on this side of the oven, stove. And that one right there. All right. I'm gonna turn this off. Then I'm gonna grab this one, this last shallot, the one that I just did, and let me grab this tongs here and this onion. Just drop it in there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And then this one's and depending on how much flavoring you want, deal with it. Sometimes I put 2, 3, you know, you can put as much. And also, it probably would be good to know how big your pot's going to be too. So I got all that in there. That's ready to go. I'm gonna actually put some fish sauce in there, right here. You know, just for right now. We're gonna add some more later after, you know, we taste it and see how much more we need. Just gonna pour some in there. There we go. That much. That's the measurement. It's called that much. All right, you look it up. There's a measurement called that much. But yeah. All right, so we're gonna let this cook for about another. I'm gonna say about another hour, maybe hour and a half. Check on the tendon, because that's the one that takes the longest. You know, it's down there in there on the bottom with the bones and all that. And of course the brisket. The brisket should be done in a few. So we're gonna do that and then go from there. All right, we'll be right back. So the pho has come along very well right now. And what it is, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the brisket, because it should be done. And then we're going to take it out and give it an ice bath. And then after that, we're going to put it in the refrigerator. All right, so give me a second here. Let's just find this thing underneath all this deliciousness. So while we're waiting for the pho to finish cooking up, it's going to take a few more hours. We're going to start preparing all the vegetables on the side and all that. So just get out of the way. It's best to not just sit around doing nothing and try to catch up doing all this at the last second. So the first thing is I'm going to cut the lime up. We have the lime here. Get the lime cut up. You don't really have to cut it up a certain way and all that. Just enough that you can squeeze it into your bowl of pho. That's all you're trying to do there. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science stuff. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. All right, got that cut up lime. Put that to the side there, and then we have the purple onion. I prefer purple onion. You can have the yellow onion, the onion that's not so, I guess, so strong, the white onion. It's up to you, but I prefer the purple onion. So here we go. We got some of this in here. Like that. Excuse me for a second. Let me throw away the outer layer here. Okay. And then get out the knife. And then go from here. What we're going to do is cut the purple onion on there, right? And then cut it up as thin as we can here. And go from there. Let's get this purple onion cut. Put it in a bowl. I'll show you what I'll do with it in a second. After I get the second part of the onion cut up there. Come at the end, I want to cut my finger there, so knock that there. And what we do is we place it in the bowl here, and we try to loosen it all up. So you see the ends right here. Loosen it all up like that. There we go. Like that. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. And people just put some in their bowl as much as they want. Like that. Put that in there. Loosen this up too. And go like that. Yeah. Take out the ends. There we go. Yeah. So there you go. Purple onion's done. Just like that. Good there. Now we're going to set some of that stuff aside. Do some of the actual green onions. Here it is right here. I cut off the tip a little bit here. Get rid of some of this stuff. Make some room over here so I can actually get some cutting done. Okay, I took the top off. I kind of like to eat this part of it. A
in the chunks like that. Big, a big good sized chunk like that on there. So what I do is I usually cut a few of them up. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people don't like, the top layer. They just like the small portion of it that I get ready to cut right now. I guess the back end, the green. I don't know if that's the back. When it grows, it goes like that. The top end. Okay, we'll go from there. All right, and then we're going to cut the onions, this green onion up a little bit here. Okay. Everybody likes the green onions inside your pho. They sprinkle a little bit inside there for you at the restaurant. Our house, that's why I like making it at home, because you can put as much as you want in there. I like a lot of it. So that being said, that's what I'm going to do. Put some more here. So there it is. Green onions there. I'll put it in a bowl here. Okay. Like that. The toppers on there, the bottomers, whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. Like that. Because usually I put like 2 or 3 full ones like this into my bowl. I like it. Some people don't. They just like I said, the small part. So we got that done. Now let me go grab the cilantro. I'll be right back. Hold on one second. All right, here we are with the cilantro. Let me cut this up too. See if I can get this cilantro cut up. I'm not too good at cutting cilantro, but I'll try my best. I just throw the whole green leaf in there, the whole thing. I don't even cut it up. I should cut it up. Some people like a lot, some people like a little bit. There we go. Cilantro. Just take a little bit, boop, put it inside your bowl. So we're gonna put it inside the bowl here. Alright, and there we have the vegetables ready to go. We have, like I said, the cilantro, the green onions, purple onions, some lime, and of course basil. I didn't get no bean sprout. They didn't look too good at either the Asian market or the regular market, so it's okay. I like bean sprout, but if I don't have it, I'm not gonna. It's not a game changer. Let's put it that way. The basils I really like. To put in there and like the taste of it. So the next thing we're going to do in a few minutes is we're going to I guess warm up, cook up the aromatics, all that stuff, and we'll get right back with you then. So the next thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to warm up or char these aromatics up for us right here. We're not going to try to burn them or nothing like that. They're just for the smell, the aroma of the pho. It doesn't change the flavoring that much. So I only do this, and then I put it into the pho broth after maybe about, almost at the end, because I don't want to put it in there and keep it in there for more than, say, more than an hour. I don't do more than an hour. Most times just half an hour. Some people put 10 minutes. Some people put as long as they want. That is up to you. That's just really up to you. I found out that when I did do it for more than an hour, it kind of made the broth taste, I don't know, a little bit tartyish or something like that. I can't find a word for it, but yeah, that's why I don't keep it inside the broth that long, just to get the aroma of it, So we'll cook this up real fast. Hopefully you can hear it crackle when it starts doing its thing, and then we'll go from there. Give me a second here. So it's cooking up real good. It's doing its thing. Like I said, we don't want to burn it. You know, we just want to make sure that, you know, we can smell it, which I actually can already. I start smelling it, all the aromas, and then after that, we're going to put it in this bag right here. You can actually put it in a cloth bag, or a metal, like, it looks like almost like a tea bag, a teacup thing. We have a real big one. Today I'm gonna use the mesh bag. You can use whichever one you want. So, but there we go. We don't want, like I said, we don't want to cook this thing so it's like too much on there. Yeah. Hear it? It's crackling. Alright, let's go ahead and get this thing off the stove and into the bag. I'll be right back. So it's all done, ready to go. Here's the mesh bag, and here's that container I told you about. No, not my glasses. Let's move that out of the way. There you go. And then, like I said, I'm going to use the mesh bag today. This is great too, but sometimes the smaller fennel and all that will, you know, fall through, and I don't want it to do that because then it gets into the broth and I can't, you know, I have to keep scooping it out. That's just another step I need to do. So let me go ahead and get this in, like I said, in the bag, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now we're going to stick this bag inside the broth. Get inside there like that. We're going to let it sit for, I guess maybe we're going to say about an hour from now, and then we're going to take everything out. The bones, the onion, the shallots, the ginger, everything out of there, and then we're going to take the broth and we're going to filter it because I want the broth to be as clear as it can be. Let me grab this spoon right here. This is before there's some fat around there. I had that little container that I showed you earlier that's for the fat, separating fat from there. But this thing, like I said, it's not bad at all. The clarity of the broth is good. It's good so far. The taste of it is really good. So now we have to wait about another hour, and then we're going to take everything out and filter it. Before that time, we're going to slice up the meats that we cooked up. They've been in the refrigerator for a few hours now. I'm going to slice them up and get them ready to go. The noodles are cooking, so they're getting ready for that too. All right, hold on, we'll be right back. So what I've done here is I've taken some of the broth out of the pho just to test out this, I guess this fat separator, and you pour it at the top. And you see some of the onions and shallots and all that, you know, like some of the burnt marks, which, you know, it filtered is good. And you go down here and it separates it just like that. So you see up the top right here, this area is the fat. So once you start pouring this out, since the thing is at the bottom here, it will pour all this good pho broth out and keep the fat on top. And that fat you can like sprinkle a little bit on top of your bowl of pho. A lot of people do that, and there's some restaurants that actually charge you for that. So we're going to do this in a few minutes with the whole pot right there, and then once that's we get all that done, then we're going to, like I said, transfer it to a little bit smaller pot. We don't need that big old pot because, you know, all the bones and all that's going to come out. So all right, give me a few minutes. Thanks, guys. So while we're waiting for the broth to get to its last round of track, we're going to go ahead and start slicing up some of this of the meat. Okay, so this is the brisket. This is a smaller one because I have all this other meat here. So we're going to just slice it up. I'm going to slice like that. There you go. Look at that. Look at it. Oh my God, that looks so good. I'm not a big, you know, the well done meat. We call this the cooked, the well done meat. But it does look pretty good. My boys, my family, they all like this part of it. more than I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up. There's only going to be 3 of us tonight eating. So what I'm doing is I just made enough for 3 of us. And like I said, I don't eat this meat that much. I might have a piece or 2 of it, but that would be enough for them. My older son and his girlfriend right there. Okay, so we got that. Then of course we have the knuckle bone that has a lot of meat on here. So normally I would have to take it off like this. Take the bone off. Let me try to cut some of this off here. Cut that. There we go. Oh yeah. Look at that. Then just cut this. There. It's been sitting in the refrigerator, so you know it's kind of, like I said, it's cold and all that. But once you pour the broth over on top of it, it will be delicious inside the bowl. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I know people don't want to sit here and watch me cut this meat, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that those things, those 2, and of course the tendon. This part of it is actually my favorite. I love the tendon right here. This is a tendon right here. I'm going to cut some of this off right here. Look at that. Look at that. That's going to go inside my bowl. I'm going to eat this. I'm the one in the family that loves the tendon. Neither of my boys or their girlfriends like this, so this is all me. And guess what? I'm glad. All right, let me get some of this cut up, and then we'll be right back, okay? All right, let's do this. So we got most of all the meat cut up, ready to go. We have this flank right here. That's the rare beef that when you pour the water on it, it will start cooking either inside your bowl or outside. Depends on how well done you want it. I'm going to cut this thing up thinly, and then, but first I'm going to beat my meat. You see that? You beat my meat. I'm going to hit it just like that. So it squishes it down. And then I'm going to cut it up into thin, small pieces so people can have inside their bowl. All right, give me a second. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take that big old pot right there and start filtering into this cup right here. But I'm going to use this to scoop it out 2 cups at a time and filter it, and then put it in this pot right here. Okay, so what is going to happen is, this is how it's going to be done. I'm going to go in here, take out about 2 cups. Look at that, gold, baby, gold. Pour it in here. Just like that. I'm going to do that a few times. Until I separate the fat, which there's not a lot. I've been doing a pretty good job, skimming it and all that, and then putting it in this bowl and having it all ready to go. All right, we'll be back. So I've transferred the pho to the smaller bowl, and here is the broth. It's gold in color. It is beef, so that is pretty clear. I mean, look at that. Yeah? See? Grab a scoop from here. Grab it. There it is. Look at that. I'm going to take a little taste of it and see if we need to add anything else. Yeah, we're going to put a little bit more fish sauce in there. But if I had to say so, I could eat it just like that right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish the next, let it simmer for another hour. Because about another hour to make it a good, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 10 hours worth of cooking today. I know the video's not 10 hours, but yeah. And here's the meatballs that go in there instead of bowls when you want some. And I got the bones right here that came out of the big pot. If there's some meat on there, we're gonna cut it up and, of course, eat it. Okay, so we'll be back. Thanks, everybody. Okay, we are at the home stretch. The broth is done, the pho that is. Everything is set out. Here it is. This is the rare beef. Some tendons. This is actually some bone marrow and some bone fat that was on the bone that was cooking. And all the well done meat, including the meatballs. Right there. See that? Briskets. There's a knuckle bone meat, all kinds. Here's the veggies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on pause. I'm going to prepare my bowl before I call the family members out so they can make theirs. Usually I let them do theirs first, but I'm doing this video, so yeah. Oh yeah, just to remind you guys that I made that the Vietnamese garlic and pepper that's sitting in the rice vinegar. I'm gonna try that out with my pho. Hopefully it's good. I think it is. I tried a piece yesterday, and it was ready. It's ready to go. So I'm going to make a bowl, and then I'm going to taste it, and we're going to all of us together. Oh, let's not forget this. That's my hot sauce. See, look at that. I'm gonna let you guys know how it tastes, and of course I'm always honest and let you know if the broth is good. But the last time I tasted, maybe about 20 minutes ago, it was right on point. All right, give me a second. Thanks. So okay, I'm going to try to do this the best I can with one hand while I'm holding the camera. So here's my the noodles I have. I'm going to put some cilantro on there, just like that. Some purple onion. Okay. And then I'm going to add some tendon, of course. I like the tendon beef right there. Okay. Maybe some of this fatty meat that came from the bone. Okay. A few meatballs like that. And of course the rare beef. I like the rare beef. There is a pot that I have over there that's warming up to cook the rare beef, but I like it where I just pour the pho over the beef, and then it cooks in there. Okay, here's some green onion. All right, put some of that in there, and of course the whole onion like this. You know what? I'm going to take this part of it and I'm going to put it inside the ladle and cook it a little bit. So I'm going to put that down, and here is some basil right there. So there's my bowl. Let me grab the ladle for the broth here and pour some inside my bowl. Here it is, and here I go. I'm going to pour it on top. Maybe a little bit more. Look at that broth. Look at that. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. That does look good. Yes, there it goes. It's hot enough to cook the meat and all that. We're good there. Oh, hold on here. I'm going to take this ladle and I'm going to take my onion and drop it in there for a minute. And then cook that up. Have it cooked up a little bit. Pour it in there like that. And now we've got one more piece here. Well, one more piece of that. I took 3 pieces of the green onion. Put it there and go, just like that. Now, I do have all my condiments that I like on there, but I'm going to actually just taste just like this without adding any hot sauce or anything in there. I want to taste the broth first. So here's the broth. Look at that. That's pretty clear. I'm telling you, it's not. It's golden color. So let me see what it tastes like. Hold on here. Yep, that is good. Not too sweet, not too salty, just perfect. Perfect on there. That is just perfect. Let me take, you know what? I'm going to try to mount this camera near my bowl right here, just like that. Let me do that. There we go. And I am actually going to, hold on, let me get this camera. This way it doesn't fall anywhere. Let me try to zoom out just a little bit there. Zoom out a little bit more there, okay. And I'm going to hold it just like that. Give me a second. Sorry about that, guys. Oops. Okay. Then I am going to grab the noodles. Oh, you know what? Grab some meat here. The rare beef right here. Put it on here. And of course, the garlic inside that I made for with the northern style Vietnamese pho. How they do it over there. I'll put it on there. Some more green onion. I'm gonna try it all out. Hold on a second. Go ahead. Oh, that is good. That is so good. Let me get what else to do. Yep, that hit the spot. I am going to finish this up, and hopefully that I can walk back to the kitchen and make another bowl. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I hope this helped out for some of you guys to do your own pho. Remember, like I said, go out there and make it your own. All right, till next time.